In a surprise to many, Benjamin Franklin Stapleton became the new mayor of Denver with the help of banker and kingmaker Gerald Hughes, an endorsement from the Ku Klux Klan, and ranked balloting. Neither incumbent mayor Dewey Bailey or Republican challenger former Governor George A. Carlson received 50% of the vote, so the second and third choice ballots were counted. On the third round, Stapleton emerged as the winner. Now, just months into his duties, Mayor Stapleton is under threat of a recall vote being led by lawyer Philip Hornbein, who campaigned for Stapleton with support from the Eastern European Jewish community on West Colfax. Representative Johnson, we'll start with you. Many thought the incumbent would have the advantage seeking re-election. Were you surprised at Stapleton's win?
No, not at all. The Denver Post and the Rocky Mountain News were against him very strongly, and I think the voters were too. They were tired of Mayor Bailey's slush fund, the corruption, the bunco games that he tolerated, and Stapleton ran on a very strong platform. He said he was going to cut taxes, reduce unnecessary expenditures and superfluous employees at City Hall. And with his record of 6 years as postmaster for Colorado, people understood he was a very competent manager for those kinds of things. And he did a good job of defusing the Klan issue when he issued a statement shortly before the election criticizing secret societies and groups going around wearing masks. And he said, any attempt to stir up racial prejudices or religious intolerance is contrary to our Constitution and is therefore un American. In my own district on the West Slope, there are Klan people in both the Democratic and the Republican parties, and there's a chance my opponent in the next election might be a Klansman or Klan backed. But my view, why I got into politics, was to help the economic development of Colorado and the whole West. So the Klan can talk about their issues like banning movies on Sundays, and I'm going to concentrate on bread and butter things, helping the farmers and the miners.
Well, Miss Buchanan, how much hold do you think the Klan has on our new mayor?
Well, Doc Reynolds, race prejudice isn't new to Benjamin Stapleton. It's not new to Denver, and it's not new to Colorado. 10 years ago, Benjamin Stapleton presided over the persecution, he would call it a prosecution, of a local woman, Norma Frazier, who was accused of violating this state's prohibition against colored and Caucasian intermarriage. 2 years ago, Ward Gash was run out of town. A year ago, Walter Chapman had his home bombed for daring to live across the color line. I tell you, if Benjamin Stapleton is elected mayor, Denver will rue the day it allowed its seal to be stolen by Benjamin Stapleton.
Well, Mr. Schaefer, do you think this is what the creators of the ranked voting system had in mind when they established it in 1913? I think it was a commission government in 1913 that created this whole ranked voting scheme.
That's when I got here, and you could see the fault in it right away. We had so far we elected Boss Spear with it, the machine boss of the Democrats. We elected probably the most corrupt mayor that we've ever had, Dewey Bailey, and that's led to what my Miss Lucille said was the second ruse that you've had now on this program. Two ruses already. Maybe we'll get a third. But let me tell you this: I was stunned because I'm wild about Harry when we had our introduction. I'm not wild about Harry Tammon, one of the owners of the Denver Post, who strongly backed this Klansman Stapleton. As you know, my newspaper backed our former governor, George Carlson, he was a prohibitionist. He's a straight shooter. He would have been a very excellent mayor. He came in third in the first round. Then we go to the second round. He drops even farther down. Dewey Bailey came in first in the first round. That's absolutely absurd. We need to go to a system where we have a clear majority winner. To go into 3 rounds of voting, are you kidding me? We get rid of a bunco artist, a guy who protected Lou Blonger, right up until his trial. D.A. Van Cise had to do a secret raid, not using Denver police, to arrest the guy, and now he's in prison. We need to recognize that we have to have a clear majority to elect our mayor. We need to go to a system like a runoff. Take the top 2 winners and then do a runoff system.
Mm. And a Republican running in Denver, I have to imagine, it'd be more competitive next time. I imagine it's always going to be competitive between Republicans and Democrats in the city of Denver.
Yes.
Well, Miss Griffith, will Ben Stapleton be known as the second choice mayor?
Well, I have to return this to the KKK analogy here because Stapleton's explanation just will not fly. Benjamin Stapleton and the Ku Klux Klan are threatening not just people of color, but people of different religions. People, most of my students are immigrants, many are Roman Catholic. They are the people who are building this city. And for them to be living in fear now because of this mayor who should not be where he is today, backing people who are the most heinous of policies, people are working to make better lives for themselves. They should be allowed to do so.
It'll be interesting to see if Mayor Stapleton can make a name for himself in the city of Denver. That remains to be seen.